I don't know if it's just nostalgia brain, but something inside of me keeps telling me to use a Windows XP desktop experience. I have a lot of fond memories of logging into my dad's computer and, opening up Internet Explorer, playing RuneScape, opening up the start menu, playing, StarCraft 1, Brood Wars, Diablo 2. And there's just so much simplicity and whimsy in that desktop environment. And I've tried Q4OS in the past. I had my gripes with it, but having come back to it recently, those gripes are gone. I've realized that this is one of the perfect desktop experiences for me for just the day to day stuff. Playing solitaire, going online for a little bit, listening to music, using LibreOffice for editing stuff. So I just want to walk you through how I have this set up with a couple of extra tweaks to make it feel a little bit less clunky, specifically with the Windows XP experience. So before we start, I've installed this and already ran the desktop profiler with full desktop, so we've got all the stuff it would possibly have installed. And I've already installed the proprietary codecs, so those will not be shown in this video. That's the starting point we're going from. So first and foremost, we'll go ahead and just get rid of this dialog on startup, close this out, and we'll open up Chromium. We're going to search for XPQ4. We're going to click on the SourceForge link. And XPQ4 is officially supported by the Q4OS team. So we'll click on Setup for Trinity. Go ahead and save this and launch it. We'll run through this installer real quick. All right. We'll go ahead and finish this out. We're going to close Chromium. And one thing I do want to mention is that with the Windows XP theming that's provided inside of XPQ4, I found the sweet spot of resolutions to be somewhere between the kind of standard netbook 1024 by 600 all the way up to 1366 by 768. If you have a display that's higher than that, you might want to set your resolution lower. You can also try like 1440 by 900, but at that point it's kind of pushing it just a little bit. I'll show you how to make sure that on login you set the resolution to whatever you ended up picking permanently so that you don't have to constantly reconfigure it every time you log in. But two more things that we're going to install before we start making any kind of modifications. This is mostly just for older computers. I've ran this on an old Intel compute stick with 1 GB of RAM, and this just helps out with low RAM usage. So we'll go ahead and open up a terminal. We're going to type in sudo apt install zram-tools, and then I'm also going to install Synapse, and I'll tell you why in a second. So Q4OS with the Trinity desktop's kind of funky because there are apps that exist inside of the ecosystem. So inside of Control Panel, we can go to TDE components. There's an auto start manager. But if you type in auto start, nothing shows up. That's where Synapse comes in. So we'll go ahead and launch Synapse. And now we're going to right click, click Preferences. We'll go ahead and enable this on startup. And then I'm going to change the theme to Virgilio. I'm not entirely sure how you say that. Go ahead and close that. And the reason why Synapse is so important is it reads directly what the desktop entry would be for everything. So Auto Start Manager not showing up in here is perfectly fine. Just press Control Space. That'll bring up Synapse, and you can type in Auto Start, and there you go. So now, with those two things out of the way, we'll go ahead and start the theming. So inside of XPQ4, I'm going to click Windows XP Luna, click Apply. We're not going to log out just yet. Now we'll go to Control Panel, Peripherals, Display, and if you've set a custom screen size here, you want to make sure it matches. We're going to click Apply Settings on TDE Startup and click Apply. That way the resolution stays the same every time that you boot up the computer. So now, the other thing that we're missing is the Windows XP startup and logout sounds. there's somebody who's already uploaded all of the Windows startup and logout sounds. So if you're following this with a different theme like the Windows 8 theme or Windows 10 or whatever, all of these sounds can be found on MC Player 2015, all Windows sounds. It'll be this GitHub link here. And for our purposes, since we're doing Windows XP, we're going to go ahead, click Windows XP, go and scroll down, and we're looking for startup and shutdown. So we'll click on startup, we'll click download, and I'm going to save this to a hidden folder so it doesn't get messed with by accident. We'll go to music, click add folder, we're going to type .xp sounds, and click create. We'll go ahead and save. And then we'll go back, find that shutdown sound, save. It'll save to the same .xp sounds. Save that. Close Chromium. Now we're going to go to Control Panel, Sound and Media, System Notifications, and we're going to find TDE is exiting. Go ahead and click this little button for the file dialog. Go to Music. We can type in dot, and the XP sounds will pop up here. And since we're going with exiting, we'll do XP shutdown. And then TDE is starting up. We will go with XP startup. Click apply, and OK. And now we are ready to log out and log back in with the new theming. All right. So it looks like since it applied the new theme, that desktop resolution didn't take. One way you can fix that for now is by typing in RANDR, screen resize and rotate. We'll go ahead and set this to a previous configuration. Now we can actually start doing a couple of improvements to the theming itself. First and foremost, with the current theming, all of the text is going to be just plain blocky, no subhinting, no anti-aliasing. So we're going to go to Control Panel, Appearance, Fonts. I'm going to turn all of the fonts up by 1, so we'll click on Size, 9, and OK. Click Apply, that'll make everything bigger. And then for Use Anti-Aliasing, we'll go ahead and click Enable, click Configure, and then we're going to change subpixel hinting to Slight. Click OK, and click Apply. Now we want to change the mouse theme. I'm not a huge fan of the original mouse theme for Windows, so we're going to go ahead and go to Peripherals, go to Mouse, Cursor Theme. That's weird, I'm missing a theme. Huh. Well, in the case that it's missing, you can go ahead and open a terminal. Type in sudo apt install. And then we're going to do breeze cursor theme. There we go. Now we should be able to reopen this. There we go. So do breeze light, hit apply, click OK. Next, what we want to do is change a couple of shortcuts for the keyboard. So we're going to go back to the Control Panel. We're going to go to Regional Accessibility, Keyboard Shortcuts. On the main tab, the main things we want to change under Windows, the Windows Operation menu, we're going to click and do Alt-Space because that's just the default in pretty much every single desktop environment. And then if you're using multiple workspaces or multiple virtual desktops, you can go to desktop switching, switch to next desktop. We'll go ahead and just do Control-Alt-Right, previous desktop, Control-Alt-Left, click apply. And then command shortcuts, the default Control-Alt-T to open a terminal doesn't exist in Trinity. So we'll go ahead and click on Console, Control-Alt-T. Apply. And click OK. And last but not least, we are going to, it's a pet peeve of mine, I don't know why, but the logout, having the fade out, I'm not a huge fan of. So we're going to go to TDE Components, Session Manager, and we're just going to untick Fade Away Screen during logout. Click Apply. Now it doesn't do that anymore. So we'll go ahead and log out. Let our settings take effect here. I guess VirtualBox is kind of weird about resizing. There we go. So now we have anti-aliased text, so it looks a little bit smoother. We've got the breeze icon for the cursor. Last things we're going to do are just configure this little taskbar menu down here. We'll go ahead and right-click, unlock panels. We're going to get rid of both of these buttons. And to the left of this handle right here, we'll right-click, add applet. We're going to add the quick launcher. This will automatically populate with the most common things, but we'll go ahead and remove some of these that we don't want. Go ahead and lock the panel again. And then anything that you have installed up here or from the menu itself, you can just click and drag into here. So in this case, I'll just pick Chromium. And then we're going to configure Quick Launcher, conserve space, and we'll set this to 24. Click Apply. That makes them just a little bit smaller. And if you have any issues with these icons, if there's stuff you want to get rid of, just click and click Delete. You can click Do Not Show This Message again, because once you've deleted it, you can just drag and drop it back onto the desktop. So we'll just go through and we'll make this look a little more Windows XP-ish. Just have the defaults here. Don't need the network. There we go. And now, that's pretty much it for the theming. If you do use additional virtual desktops, you can go to Control Panel, Desktop, Multiple Desktops, and then you can increase the number here. Click Apply. It will be able to use our Control-Alt right and left to switch between them. One last thing that I do just for readability, especially on some larger displays, I'll actually change the theming of this just a little bit so that it's slightly darker. So we can right-click, taskbar. There we go. Appearance, taskbar style, we'll click on Custom, and then we'll click Draw Halo Around Text. So instead of just having plain white text, once we click Apply, we'll actually have a black halo around this. Makes it just a little bit easier to read. Aside from that, if anything seems like it's too small, you can always go back to the Welcome Center and just click on Screen Scaling and turn this up. I would usually turn it up by 0.05 at a time. So you can do like 1.05, hit Apply, log out, log it back in, try it again. Do that until everything seems to fit correctly. The resolution is mostly just making this window title bar seem proportional to the rest of the desktop. Aside from that, it's a fully usable Linux system. It's based on Debian. Anything you can install through Synaptic or through Flatpaks, anything like that, you can install through this as well. I really wanted to play RuneScape in the browser again, but I found out that it's no longer officially supported. So unfortunately, if I wanted to go back and play, OSRS today, I would have to play it through the official launcher, and that kind of breaks the immersion a little bit. But you can install Steam on this. You can, play whatever you need to. I will say that for Steam, if you just do sudo apt install Steam installer, it will pop up an error saying that you need the i386 dependencies. So, kind of last little tip, you can do sudo dpackage add architecture i386. Do sudo apt update, sudo apt install steam libs i386. And now you can sudo apt install steam installer. And now you should just be able to run the Steam installer. And there you go. Enjoy.